it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ad Rock, and as always, I have with me my two co-hosts, Krug and Indigo. And the reason I put them first is because, you know, they're important people in my lives. How's it going, gentlemen? Are you having a seizure live on stream?
Yes, pretty much is exactly what you guys do. Hi, everybody. My name is Krug. Welcome to Quarter Up. How's it going? I guess we should go over our weeks, right? We go over our weeks before the show starts.
I wanted to introduce you guys first because we always do the name of the show first, and I wanted to make you feel special.
Oh. Thanks.
Did you notice that? Because I didn't.
Nope. I thought he said Quarter Up. Maybe I'm just used to hearing it so often that I
I just mentally know what his spiel is, and then I just wait until I
zone out
Indigo, and I go, hey!
Okay.
Something
Welcome
silly.
To Quarter Up, a weekly gaming news and views roundup. Indigo, how was your week?
My week was pretty awesome. I went to Scare LA yesterday. I got some cool artwork, which I have right here. I'll show you guys. It's pretty cool. Little mind. Yeah, because I like mind flares and Cthulhu and whatnot, and I thought it was really cool. You know, if you can't see them. Anyways, went to that. It was a little pricier than it should have been, like for what they were offering and what they had going on. Wasn't super worth the cost, but you know, I had a good time, and it was, you know, testing the water, seeing what cons and stuff like that are out there and what's fun. And other than that, just been playing a lot of WoW, getting ready for Legion. Crew, what about you, bro?
My week has also been pretty good. I didn't go to any fun cons or anything, but we did go to a friend's birthday party last night. That was really fun. Had some sweet food, had some drinks, watched some guy I barely know get way too drunk and just like sit at the table for like 45 minutes and just
Oh, that's not good.
Like breathing really heavily, and we were like, he's gonna vomit. And even the bouncer that was standing by the door, we were sitting right next to the door.
You're talking about last night.
Yeah. The bouncer was sitting right next to the door, and he's like, is he okay? Does he need some water? Like, water's free. You can just go grab some for him. And we were like,
he hadn't drank that much.
yeah. And everybody was, because I barely know this guy, but everybody else was like, yeah, I don't know why he's this bad right now. Like, he didn't drink that much, and normally I see him drink a lot more and be perfectly fine. But he was gone, and it was the funniest. And don't worry.
He was falling asleep. It was golden.
He made it home safely, so no need to worry about that. All you friendly people. But yeah, I went to that, and then this morning I've been working on shows. During the week, I was just working because work's fucking hard. Didn't do anything really exciting during the week. Doc, what about you, buddy? Adrock, sorry. I'll get used to that in 4 years.
A way around NBC's coverage of the Olympic Games because I don't have TV, I don't have cable.
Hold on.
I like the Olympics, and I despise NBC. So if I can stick it to them, I'd rather do that. But nothing is working right now.
Real quick, did you see the video? This is Olympics related. Did you see the video of the gymnast who landed wrong and broke his leg? His leg literally is like whoop whoop whoop. Yeah. Has like 3 different angles, and you're like, how's that supposed to have that many turns in it?
I mean, I wanted to make a really bad gun joke the first day of the Olympics because America's first gold medal was in shooting, and then I realized, I really shouldn't take away the fact that this woman actually won a gold medal for her country, and like, good for her. Honestly, good for her. I'll take the high road. But on top of that, I actually surprisingly like watching the Olympics, and it just gets me hooked. But other than that, I got an event next weekend that I'm working towards, and doing Garrison stuff in WoW, and just wanted to blow my brains out. It's not a whole lot other than that. Doing some videos for Atlas Reactor. We had a new one for this week for Nyx. Next week we have a sauna coming out. I can finish the little bits on it that I need to finish. So
the whole video. The little bits are the whole.
It's actually halfway done. I just haven't bothered to get a recording or two for something else I need.
Of course it is. Yeah, I believe you.
Let's just go right into our news for the week.
Yeah.
First off, we're going to go into Overwatch. And if you didn't know, and I don't believe we covered it last week because it kind of sprung up this week just randomly.
Yeah.
There wasn't really any data mining on it. The Summer Games are here. They showed up a few days before the Rio Olympics started, as you know, a tie-in always ties in.
Mm-hmm.
And they did mention that unlike the Olympic Games, which will happen every 4 years, they are contemplating and would like to do the Summer Games every single summer.
Which is
have
nice.
A different thing going on, which is really
cool. Yeah,
it's been like.
I just think they're looking for new ways of getting unique like brawl mechanics in there, and I think the Summer Games every summer's unique brawl mechanics.
Brawl.
Brawl.
Bruh.
Thank you.
Some brawl mechanics.
Some unique brawl mechanics, you know, like.
I just needed you to add the WL at the end instead of saying brawl.
Bro, we need some new mechanics in this
Tracer
game, bro.
needs better breast support. Like, that's what was confusing me about it. I'm like,
I'm gonna leave that one on the table. But for those of you who didn't see it, for those of you who didn't catch it, in the trailer for the Summer Games, there's a super cool hidden message for you, and I'm gonna read the whole hidden message from beginning to end, and that is U2FSDGV. Oh, you're right. I should be also differentiating between capital and non-capital letters. No, I'm joking. Anyways,
sensitive, Krug. It's all case sensitive.
Yeah. So it's this basically really long string of gobbledygook that looks like a hash for something. If you're familiar with what that is, nobody's been able to crack it and see what it means yet. But it's the latest in a long string of Sombra related hints, which is leading.
you don't know that this one's Sombra related.
It's a long string of hints, most of which have been related to Sombra, and so it's a safe assumption to say that this is Sombra related as well.
You guys live in Southern California. It's Sombra.
Oh God, dude, I super don't give a fuck.
Sombra.
Is it
Sombra.
Sombura. It is a Sombura related
hint.
Not
a vagina.
Sombra.
Yeah, it's a Vegeta and a burrito. Whatever, I don't care. So anyways.
Yeah, it's a GIF, right?
I also, while I was researching this, trying to figure out if anybody had figured out what this meant or not, I came across a piece of information that's very interesting. The first cipher was for Sombra was in a flash of white during one of.
There was two flashes in Anna's release video. In her history release video, where they're going through, there's two flashes.
Oh, okay. Are you talking about the one that's like the color bars? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh no, I was talking about the hex code that they undid last time.
Oh no, so okay, we're talking about similar things. So there's one where it's just like a flash of white, and it has this text in it, and apparently the key to unlock that was somehow 23. I don't understand because I'm not like a cryptologist, but
it's the number of characters that Sombra will be. So by adding her into it, she will be the 23rd character in Overwatch.
Right, but that was also the number that like you needed to use to decipher that code.
Yeah.
So it's like you use 23 to decipher that first code. She would be the 23rd character, and the Summer Games ends on the 22nd, which means they have to patch on the 23rd. So what do you think is going to happen on the 23rd? Maybe they're going to drop that character on us. It would be numerically appropriate.
Overwatch hasn't really done things in a predictable manner at the moment. Their season 1 just kind of showed up, and Anna just kind of showed up. Summer Games just kind of showed up. I wouldn't be surprised if Sombra showed up just because.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll happen immediately, but it'll probably be not too long after Summer Games ends.
Sure.
And this is what's confusing me about this is the fact is that we just got Anna. We're about to end season 2. Like, it just seems like we're getting characters really soon.
They
really
would
quick.
be setting a very, very dangerous precedent by releasing that character that quickly. I agree with you completely on that, but I'm just saying if it does happen and that's going to be the precedent that they want to set, even if they say like, oh yeah, for the first year of this game, we're going to be releasing things like this, bam, bam, I'd be down to clown, dude. Like,
I mean, and granted, the amount of content in Overwatch is not as much as say WoW, but if they can release this much content in Overwatch at this period of time this fast, you got to look at their other teams and go, the fuck, guys, the fuck.
Well, hold on. You say that, but you're implying that none of these characters existed before the release of Overwatch. I'm 90% sure most of these characters existed pre-Overwatch release.
Anna was almost finished when they were still in development of the game. There's screenshots of her in behind-the-scenes video making of the game.
Yes.
So yeah, I actually agree with you there. But going back to Summer Games specifically, and the content it's related to, which is all seasonal content, they just kind of like put a nice little bow on this before we move on with more Overwatch stuff, because why not? They did say they do want to continue and do more seasonal content, kind of like WoW does it and Hearthstone does it in Heroes of the Storm. So it's just another tradition of Blizzard games just to put as many real world and US holidays as they can into their games to kind of incentivize players to come back and try more content.
Have you guys heard the drama about this, about like Lucio Ball stuff? Okay, so the big issue that people have been having with this is the fact that you can't actually.
Lucio?
No. I'm talking about the skins that have been released. The skins. So the big drama right now is the fact that you can't actually use the in-game currency to buy these skins. You actually have to only get them through loot boxes, which is
two of this. Yeah.
There's a bunch of people getting really super pissed off about that because the only two ways to do that is to, one, grind levels, or 2 is to go in the. Sorry, I just heard noise. I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
Stupid idiot.
Or the second option is to spend money and buy boxes. And people are getting pissed off because they're saying, "Hey, you're forcing people to buy boxes. You're forcing people to buy money. Please let us."
Forced.
What? No. It's not being forced, but the issue is since they're going to be limited time only, like a few weeks, that it's basically forcing people to buy boxes, which I do agree with that. Like, it's very difficult to grind out that many levels to get randomized boxes to get all of the things that you are looking for specifically.
That I feel is a little thin, but the one I feel like that reason, we have to buy because it's limited time. Well, not really. Well,
again, it's not forced, but like if you're adding content to a game that you want, like people want to try out and want to get a hold of, like I get their frustration with wanting to be able to.
I agree that's what Blizzard's doing. Like they are adding limited time content. They're not making it available for like in-game currency purchases so that people will spend money on loot boxes. I agree. That's totally what they're doing. Do people have a right to be mad at that? I don't think so. Like, that's a little silly. That's kind of like the Hearthstone model, right? Like, you have all these cards, kind of. Not exactly like the Hearthstone model. I see Indigo trying to disprove me in his head. I agree that it's different from the Hearthstone model. I think it's a lot easier to get packs in Hearthstone than it is to grind boxes in Overwatch.
It's also not, the reason that that's not the same at all is you can actually get those cards that you want that are coming out of packs through the dust, and you're able to get stuff through dust. You're not able to use the in-game currency, which is the gold coins, get that. So no, you can't compare them whatsoever because everyone's asking for what you're describing, and they actually came out and said, no, we're not going to do that. We hear you. We're not going to do that.
But there's actually a bigger issue tied to the Summer Games loot boxes than just the fact that they're not on the cash shop. I'm personally cool with the fact that they're going to be RNG completely for this specific time frame, and I wouldn't be surprised if they show up at like an end of the year sale and go, hey, if you didn't get them then, they might show up here on the shop, use your coins and blow them off on that. The thing that actually surprised me that I'm not a huge fan of myself is the fact that the summer loot crates, loot boxes, also are padded with normal loot box stuff.
Well, so, that's the same thing. It's
no. There's a difference. No, wait. There's a difference between the Zarya skin for Summer Games. It can't be bought with coins. That's fine. The problem is if you get a Summer Games loot box and you open it and it's all traditional loot box items.
All right.
That's way worse.
You're guaranteed one item out of those boxes to be the new content. You're guaranteed one of them to be a part of the games. You and I are literally describing the same thing. I'm just going about it.
About prices on getting the skins. I'm talking about the fact that
what I'm saying is the fact that you have to buy the boxes and it's randomized generated items that you're getting in those boxes. So the items that you specifically want, you can't buy with loot. That's what I'm saying. But
you're not. But the problem is,
please be the moderator and tell us that we're talking about the exact same thing.
You basically are talking about the exact same thing.
We're talking about it in two different directions.
That is correct.
Thank you.
I agree with Indigo gets the coin.
Give the coin if you want. I know what he's saying. He's saying, look, the specific Summer Game skins. No, fuck you. Listen, the specific Summer Game skins don't have price tags on them. You're right. People are feeling like they've been coerced to purchase the boxes to try and get a chance at the skin. The problem is that they're rare skins that show up in the loot boxes, right? What else is inside those loot boxes? Normal stuff. They do say, yeah, you were supposed to get at least one Summer Games item in there. But if it's a Summer Games box and I'm getting traditional sprays and then maybe a victory pose, I don't care about the fact that I don't have that my issue isn't with the fact that I have to go buy that Zarya skin now. It's the fact that I have 3 sprays that I could have gotten from a normal loot box. The Summer Game loot boxes should have their own table.
That's too many things.
Be available through Summer Game boxes.
There aren't that many things, is what I was trying to say. There are not that many pieces of new cosmetic items to be able to do that and have any sort of like profit from it. They have to put other stuff in there to make them rarer. Anyways, really funny story really quick before I move on, because I think we've beaten this to death and back. One of the QueueTimes content creators, his name's Neo Shadowzak. You can check out all his videos on youtube.com/QueueTimes. He opened a Summer Games loot box and was really excited to see that he got a legendary, and it ended up being money. Like, literally most depressing thing ever. I would have cried.
Also, this won't happen very often on the show, but I'm sorry, Indigo. I'm still riled up from our Suicide Squad discussion that I had a legitimately anger-fused fuck you, which wasn't a humor face fuck you. So I apologize. I didn't mean to be that.
Not angry whatsoever, but just know that we're arguing about the exact same thing, and we both think it's bullshit. So there you go.
Like that movie. You're right. Let's continue.
All right. So the next thing we're gonna go into is McCree nerfs and Ana buffs. Did you want to say something else, Krug? Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, as far as the release cadence for Overwatch, a lot of people are saying oh, this is gonna be infeasible if they continue at this pace. Like they're gonna have over 60 60 heroes in no time. And I was thinking, Smite has way over 60. I think they have over 70 gods in that game. Yes. And I understand that this genre is different from Smite. Smite's a MOBA. This is something else, and I don't know exactly how you define these two.
First-person shooter MOBA.
Yeah, like a team shooter, whatever the fuck they call it. They're not that far off from each other as far as the gameplay. One has minions, the other one doesn't. Okay, so what? Just having that kind of variety, I don't think is inherently bad for a game. And I'm just gonna look at Smite and say that game has a ton of variety as far as characters are concerned, and I don't think it does a disservice to the game. There are periods of time where some characters become absolutely completely inviable, and there are some periods where some characters become way too viable. But I think that's, first of all, not a huge issue. There's a huge middle portion that are totally viable, and I also think Blizzard will do a better job than Hi-Rez does with balancing things, because Hi-Rez, I think, unbalances things on purpose sometimes, but that's just me being cynical. We can totally move on now if you want. I'm done ranting about that.
All right. Okay, so we actually saw some nerfs and some buffs for two of the characters. Now, it seems like McCree has been getting the nerf hammer a lot lately, or is that just me?
I think he got it twice recently. He launched, then he got nerfed, and now he's getting nerfed again, I think is how that went.
Yeah. So McCree, he's actually losing his Peacemaker ability is losing damage fall off at 10 meters. So that means instead of 35 meters, he's now dropping it down to 25 meters before he actually has a reduced damage, which means that Pharah's, because anytime you have a McCree's job is to take Pharah out. That's literally oh, there's a Pharah in the sky. McCree, deal with that shit. Because
really, I didn't really think McCree's a counter to Pharah. I thought he was more of a way to deal with characters like Genji, Tracer,
Flankers
and Reaper.
Yes. So he was flankers and air units, which is currently only Pharah.
But really, anybody with a hit scan weapon is just please kill Pharah for me. That's basically what it is.
Exactly. So that's dropping down. So now he's specifically only going to be focused towards dealing with flankers, and which is great, and it's putting him right in the position that Blizzard wants him to be in, and that's really what they were looking for him. His Fan the Hammer is also getting a fire rate increase by 15%. So his Fan the Hammer will happen slightly quicker, but it will still do the same amount of damage. So it's just going to be able to happen a little bit quicker. And then his flashbang is also going to have a recovery time decrease from 0.5 seconds to 3.5 seconds, which is either a Fan the Hammer or 2 possible headshots within that time.
And that's if you're really quick on, leaving the animation and then recentering on the head and pulling off 2 shots. You could possibly do it, but I think it's just more giving people the chance to get off the entire Fan the Hammer, because I don't think a lot of people have the skill to get off 2 headshots. But I haven't played with it, so maybe it's easier than I'm making it out to be. I don't know why this is considered a nerf, because this seems more like just buffing him the direction he was supposed to have been going this whole time, and nerfing him in a direction that he wasn't supposed to be going this whole time.
Where do you see it?
I agree.
Fan the Hammer fire rate increase, I consider a buff.
By 15%?
Yeah, that combined with the flashbang thing, it gives you a lot larger margin of error when you're stunning someone to take a step back, Fan of Hammer, and kill them. You have time to
No. The
get
flashbang, it basically reduced to the length of flashbang or Fan the Hammer. So from dropping it from 0.5 to 0.35 seconds on recovery, that means that's how much time that they're stunned for.
No, it's how long it takes him to get out of the animation.
No. It's about enemy. Yeah, it's enemy recovery time.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say that Indigo's right.
This is not animation. This is recovery time for the enemy.
And if Indigo is wrong, I'm gonna put it in the show notes.
Basically, what they're trying to do is make sure they keep McCree somewhere in the short to mid-range fighter category. Exactly. And then by extension, because we have other stuff to go through as well, Ana changes that she got were meant to reinforce the fact that she is a long range sniper. She got increased rate of fire. Her heals are technically a little better than Mercy's, although because they're more effective as a hit scan,
it's not a little bit.
Land.
It's double.
Well, but it's double, and that's in an ideal situation where you land all your shots at maximum speed, which is not realistic.
She does 100 heals per second versus Mercy's 50 heals per second. That's what we're saying. The difference is that Mercy doesn't have to aim. Mercy literally just has to click.
Yeah.
So I mean,
hold left click.
True. And I promise, if you don't like Blizzard Overwatch, we're almost done with this segment for the show. I promise.
No,
Indigo.
We've got one more news.
Well, hold on. But I'm going to go back to the flashbang thing. I'm reading directly from the update notes. Flashbang, recovery time, i.e. the amount of time before McCree can fire again. So it has to do with McCree's... It's basically allowing him to hit right click sooner after he throws flashbang. So it's nothing to do with the enemy.
Gotcha. Okay.
Decreased from 0.5 to 3.5 seconds. So it's totally a buff for him in the direction that he was supposed to be going, which is counter flank, as opposed to sniper with a pistol for some reason, like Halo 1 status. Anyways, that's that thing.
I see where you're going there.
Yeah, you get it? Because pistol was super
also
OP.
For the summer games, you also have Lucio Ball, which is play Rocket League. It's the same thing with Lucio.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Rocket League with 3 Lucios on each team. It's the funniest thing. You don't have your primary attack. You just have your right click, and the right click like shoots a ball that's conveniently the exact same size as the Rocket League ball and has like similar physics, and the arena is very similar looking.
It's fun.
The funny thing is, so in this game mode, you're only supposed to be able to play Lucio. If you're playing on Xbox or PC, you can actually pick other characters and play as them. Not necessarily pick. So I'll just take the PC, for example. If you, while loading into the game, just mash the H key like with both fingers, like really, really fast, or set up a macro to press it, it will assign you a random character. Because when you enter the hero select screen, it normally puts you on a random character. Like it doesn't always start off at the first character. Mm-hmm. So what I presume is happening is that it puts you on this random character and then auto selects it for you and then just puts you in the game as that character instead of Lucio. So you can get some really fucking funny interactions. And I tried it once. I will admit that I did try it once. And I got Tracer, which was really fun because I could blink back and forth like crazy. And I think the enemy team had a Torbjorn, which was the most decimating thing ever. It's super OP because nobody else in the game has, if you're just a Lucio, your primary attack is disabled, your right click doesn't do any damage, and your melee attack doesn't do any damage.
Your heal's disabled as well.
Your heal's disabled, and your ult doesn't give shields, it just pulls the ball closer to you. So you have no way of countering damage. So as a Tracer, you just run around and shoot people in the back of the head and they die.
That is
as a Torbjorn, you just put your turret in the middle and it just kills everything. Apparently, I saw this in a video. If you get Diva, you spawn as Diva without her mech, but you spawn inside of the mech like model. So you're just stuck inside of her mech model until somebody comes and melees the mech, and then you can leave the mech model. But now you're in no clip mode. This isn't a joke. There's a video of this in the show notes. It's fucking ridiculous. So now you can no clip out of the arena and go like explore the beach that's outside and see all the boats. I swear to God, yeah, this is all real. It's in the fucking show notes. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. I don't know how they released this with like such an egregiously obvious glitch.
No one thought that was gonna happen.
Yeah, I know. Can't you just disable the H key? Like this seems like such an easy fix, and they didn't do it. So whatever. We'll see.
I mean, they're probably laughing at it. Like Lucio Ball is first of all a brawl. They don't. It's not like it
affects rank or anything
unless it got so popular that it was like legitimately just fucking people's experience in the game, like, and people were just upset and angry about it.
Right.
Until then,
I don't think that's gonna happen. Most of the time, or the videos, because there are tons of videos for people like, I'm gonna play Zarya, blah blah blah. Most of the time, people are laughing and then just saying cheaters never prosper because apparently it's really hard to win if you don't just have 3 Lucios on your team.
Unless you're playing Torbjorn.
Unless you're playing Torbjorn. Torbjorn's OP as fuck in that game mode. So that was Lucio Ball. I would highly recommend you go try it at your own risk.
So we're just gonna skip over this part. Blizzard got DDoS because people are dumb.
Why are you going over news so much? We don't have.
There's not a whole lot to this.
Yeah, but you're like blasting through shit unnecessarily.
No. We have other stuff we could talk about. A DDoS attack on a game company is really not that big of news anymore. They didn't affect any credit card information. It was just Poodlecore who claimed responsibility. They just wanted to fuck with it.
So I'm just going to say this. The fact that a company this enormously large can get DDoSed by something as unheard of as Poodle Corp, is kind of scary to me. Like, I understand that DDoSing is kind of like the lowest common denominator of internet attack. Like, it's literally you just pay somebody with a lot of computers to point them at a specific location and then push the fire button. Like, it requires absolutely no skill whatsoever, unless you were the one that has all of those zombie computers, in which case please don't talk to me or look at me ever again because I'm afraid of you. And they did it for a couple hours. Like, it started, Blizzard admitted that it was happening at 4:30 p.m. and it went until 7:15 p.m. on August 4th. So, and they couldn't do anything about it. And because you can't do anything about it, like, what are you going to do? What's your recourse there? Nothing. You don't have
The only thing
one.
I could think of is I would totally expect this to happen again once Legion launches. I feel like people that do DDoS attacks, they're warming up for Legion because it's one of the biggest launches of the year in general. I mean, I can't think of a few other games this year, specifically 2016, that are
No Man's
as
Sky.
hyped for coming out, like whether it's console or PC. It's Blizzard, which is always a prime target for anyone who wants to disrupt things. I have an honest feeling that between this DDoS attack and one that happened earlier this year, not too long before this one actually, that this is like if I were you guys, I wouldn't be surprised if you log on to Legion and you just can't get on for like a day.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case without a DDoS, because
Yeah,
fucking
I mean,
Legion.
I'm saying that this wouldn't shock me if it happened.
Yeah.
Hey, don't joke. I'll be in New York when Legion happens, or like the weekend that it comes out. So like, I'm hoping to be able to get on the first day so I can play at least a little bit.
You won't. You're gonna hop on your Demon Hunter and you're just gonna sit there and just be like going through all these queues. And just
You're going to be on your Demon Hunter, and there are going to be 700 other Demon Hunters, like, following the exact same path that you're taking.
Yep.
Hey,
I remember playing my first Panda. That's exactly what.
Is that really what it was?
And Death Knight.
Yeah. I didn't get into Death Knight until a little bit afterwards, so it wasn't like as big of a deal. But yeah, when I tried to play Panda for the very first time, it was miserable. Everyone would circle around the NPC that they needed to go, and then just sit there, not log off, nothing. They would just sit there. You couldn't click on it. It was fucking miserable. Anyways, we can move on now, Doc, since you're so fucking angry all the time.
You see what happened? We focus on it anyway.
Yep, exactly, because we don't like you. Anyways, so I actually found this this week. Halo TV show is still alive. I don't know if you guys remember this,
Why?
but
I don't.
They announced it in 2003 2013.
I was going to say, that's a long time ago.
They announced it in 2013 when they did the Xbox One reveal. It's supposed to be a Showtime show. Steven Spielberg was attached to it. It was supposed to be this huge thing. And then 2014, the Xbox production studio was shut down. And they came out and they said, don't worry, guys, this won't affect the Halo TV show. All right, cool. Right? And then Showtime boss David Nevis confirms that the TV show was still very active development as of August 2015. So they're saying, okay, hey, we're still working on it, guys. And then last month, they hit up the main guy from Xbox. What is his name? Phil Spencer. Thank you. And said, hey. Yeah, Phil Spencer, and said, "Hey, what the hell's going on with the Xbox or the Halo video game or the Halo TV show?" And his response was, "It's alive." That's it. That's his response. Was
I don't
alive.
know how to feel about that. I mean, they did have Halo Nightfall, that miniseries. I think it's on Netflix. It's actually not that bad. Mm-hmm. It's a side story that Master Chief only shows up in briefly towards the end. Mm-hmm. There's the Halo Wars spin-off game. There's ODST that was a spin-off game. I'm trying to think of what else in the Halo series is interesting enough to non-Halo fans that the Halo TV show would still be a prominent thing. Because, I mean, I would have honestly said the story of Reach, which was turned into a video game. Like, that would have been cool. Like, oh my, this is the precursor to the Halo game. You know, the oncoming of the Covenant. But it's a game. And if I'm not mistaken, the TV show was supposed to also center on Master Chief. So were they just kind of rehashing the story of the first Halo game and Reach for TV? I can't think of what thread is interesting enough to make it happen still.
I literally have no idea what they were going to try to do. Like, it just...
Yeah, I can't think of anything in the Halo franchise that I would want to watch rather than play. Like,
There's
a bunch of books
I can't
that are really hard sci-fi that are supposed to be really interesting, but
it's not that. Like, I mean, I'm willing to give them the opportunity to come up with something in the world that would be entertaining and exciting that people want to read or watch. Like, I get that aspect, and some people don't think that. I don't know. Some people want to watch the television show. My issue is it's pretty fucking dead. 2013 it was announced. It's now 2016 in August, and they're just saying, yeah, it's alive. We don't have anything. It's been 3 years since we announced it, and still nothing. Like, at that point, why are we even talking about it? You know?
I don't know. I don't. It sounds like something that's gonna die before it gets off the ground.
I feel like it's gonna be I think it's gonna be more of a Duke Nukem thing. It'll be passed around forever and a day because the franchise is still really popular.
Is it?
Because it is. I mean, Halo Wars 2 is coming out, and that's a side game that was a strategic top-down RTS, and people are still really kind of psyched about that. It's coming out this year.
I played the first one. And I did not like it at all.
Supposedly, Halo Wars 2 is supposed to be more interesting and better and polished than the first one,
but still, it was none of that.
I don't know what to say because, again, everything interesting that would be supplemental to Master Chief's story has already been told. The story of ODST, the story of Reach, the story of Nightfall, the Halo Wars 2 stuff, everything, even the books cover material that are supplemental to the games.
Yeah, but
unless they want to go
do those,
they can go back to that but I feel like they'd just be unnecessarily rehashing. I don't know.
Welcome to television. I mean, look at all of Game of Thrones. They're taking books and converting them into TV shows because no one wants to read. Like, whatever.
That's fair.
So, anyways, I think we should move on to Pokemon Go news.
Yeah.
Another ton of news.
So, Pokemon Go is getting broken by the people who created Pokemon Go.
Shoot themselves in the foot hard.
It's kind of sad. And I will say, starting this off, I don't necessarily think that this is detracting very much from the game personally, but a lot of people disagree with me. So,
oh yeah, they do.
We'll start off there. So, they've been doing a lot, making a lot of changes, some of which are kind of bad. For example, they've disabled sites like Pokevision from obtaining information, therefore rendering them useless. And for those of you that don't know, Pokevision was a website where you could go see kind of like a Google Maps style map, but instead of like points of interest or whatever, you would see where Pokemon are spawned and how much longer they will remain there, which was a super useful tool, especially considering the fact that for the longest time, the in-game Pokemon tracker that showed you the little feet below the Pokemon has been broken. Like, it hasn't been working correctly.
And then they just got rid of it.
Yeah, and in the latest update, they just got rid of it completely, and now it's just pictures of Pokemon that are near you. But you can't see which one's closer, which one's further. You can't tell if you're getting closer or further from them. Like, there's absolutely no information aside from, if you walk around, you'll probably run into one of these. Like...
So, okay, so to work with that timeline a little bit. So they got rid of, they were upset about Pokemon Vision. So they... there was a bug that caused them all to have the 3 steps for a while. And then they got upset with Pokemon Vision because they were doing their thing. And so they got rid of the 3 steps so that people couldn't use sites like Pokemon Vision. Like, you could illegally go out and still do that, but because they got rid of the 3-step system, it got rid of the navigation that people were using to narrow that information down. So that's the issue.
The data that was being sent to the users that would give them the 3-step thing was also enabling sites like Pokevision, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
So
the irony being that there's already a new batch of sites up that don't use the actual game software to track the game or track Pokemon movements. Now there's just a bunch of sites that are aggregated information.
Yeah, crowdsourcing that data, right?
Yeah.
Which is, and that was up while Pokevision was there. But they're 2 different niches. Like, one of them is like, there is this Pokemon at this location right now, and if you're there, you can get it. So you could look there and see, like, which direction specifically you had to go to get a Pokemon. The crowdsourcing one is like, oh, like, a town over, there's a really high concentration of this one Pokemon that you want. So they're 2 different use cases. One of them is active, like, I am here, what can I get here, where do I have to go to get stuff here? And the other one is passive, like planning in advance, where do I have to go to get these things? So they were 2 different tool sets. I don't think they replace each other or like step on each other's toes at all. I think you could use them both effectively if you're that into Pokemon Go, which the only reason I was into Pokemon Go is because I got to walk around with friends. Like, that was literally the only reason I played it. So yeah, if you were that into Pokemon Go, you could use both of those things. The former's gone now, the Pokevision. The ones that crowdsource information, obviously you can't get rid of those except by court order. So those are still up. So they disabled Pokevision. They removed the in-game tracker completely. Pokemon are now super hard to catch. Like, people have been reporting like
they were
right. So that was Pokemon were super hard to catch. It was taking like multiple Great Balls sometimes to capture like really low CP, really common Pokemon, which isn't how it was supposed to be. So Niantic admitted that was a bug and said they were going to fix it.
Well, they said it was a bug, but I believe that it happened because of the amount of pressure that they got from people.
You think so?
Just like, oh fuck!
I honestly,
now you're the one being cynical.
That in some cases it's just part of the in-game mechanics, like Zubat just being a fuck ton and a half to catch.
Yes, because they move around. But the issue was it was Pidgeys that people were using like 10 to 15 Pokeballs on, and then they were running away.
Yeah.
Like, that was the issue that people were having, and they were getting so much pressure from it that I think that they were like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna introduce the game to people. People are gonna like it, and then we're gonna make it a little bit more difficult to catch Pokemon.
But that wasn't a little at all.
No, I know. I think it was just. I think they went a little bit further than they were. You know what I mean? Like, and so then this is my tinfoil hat moment right now. All right, I get one show. All right, so my thought is that they were trying to tweak it up a little bit so that people would go out and buy Pokeballs because it was so difficult and you needed to use so many. And then they got so much pressure about how fucking bad this is and how many people are like, this is ridiculous, you're making people have to pay, blah 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 blah. And then they were like, oh, it was a bug, we're good. Like, that's my legitimate. And then I don't know if you saw this or not, but so there's a community manager that works for them, and people were harassing him and haranguing him, like going, what's the fuck's going on? No tweets, nothing. And then after he was being harassed for so long and all of this information came out, he came out and says, hey, we're hiring a community manager. I'm actually only here for the ingress stuff. So, which means they didn't have a community manager since the launch of this game.
Good play. Super good play. Maybe they weren't expecting it to be this popular because it did kind of explode.
Yeah, but even games you don't think are going to explode, you have a community manager.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
All right, I'm with you on that.
It's a game that you're putting for free on Steam that no one else wants to play. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Anyways, we can move on. Sorry.
Wait, well, I wanted to say this. Speaking of Pokemon that are hard to catch, I just put a link in your guys' Skype.
Which I can't open, and you are fully aware that I can't open it, you stupid piece of shit.
Sucks for you. I'll put it in the Skype chat, and I'll put it in our show notes. It's probably the best video I've seen about Pokemon Go. It involves catching Zubats.
Yeah, it's this guy trying to catch a Zubat, and the Zubat literally is like dodging it like bullets from the Matrix. Like, what?
My favorite is somebody made a GIF of a Pidgey standing there, and then just like 45 Pokeballs come out and just like hit the Pidgey all over, and it's just like grooming itself, and then the Pokeballs are just like all on the ground, and it just runs away. It's the funniest. It like exemplifies this update perfectly. So yeah.
Speaking of things being banned,
Pokemon Go. Nobody said anything about anything being banned. I don't know what you're talking about.
Technically, Pokevision was banned.
Okay,
so
all right.
in well, not Mother Russia, but I guess Mother Iran, Pokemon bans you ban Pokemon. So that's really bad. Bear with me, because it's actually becoming a bit of a trend. So we talked later on a few weeks ago in Quarter Up where places have been asking people to not play Pokemon Go. They've also been trying to go to Niantic and going, look, I don't want to be part of Pokemon Go. Not a big deal. They're trying to ban players from going into there and playing Pokemon Go, whatever. Iran, or Iran, they're the first country to actually officially ban it, and they're citing safety reasons. They're basically saying we don't want people to get together in giant groups and be victims of like assault or mugging or, exchanging ideas or messages, maybe, possibly. I don't know.
You shut your dirty, uneducated mouth about that shit.
And when we were talking about it, you said, well, what about Egypt? And, well, Egypt didn't ban
I didn't say that.
I did.
No,
okay.
Indigo did. Sorry, I should reiterate. Indigo said that. And what basically happened with Egypt was that Egypt condemned the game. They're like, hey, guys, Pokemon Satan, well, lack of a better phrase, paraphrasing.
No, that's not what they said. Look, you're not allowed to talk about this stuff anymore. Egypt was the religious figures were concerned that Pokemon Go was so addictive that it was taking people away from religion.
I know.
That was the concern. You can go suck a huge dick. A huge dick.
So basically, Iran, though, basically was citing security reasons, and I'm too cynical to believe it. But that's just me. I'm also not an expert on the region, so if you want to send your hate mail, please do. I'll just ignore it.
Not only is he not an expert on the region, he is wholly uneducated. Those two are different things. He's not just not an expert. He's 100% ignorant. That is how little he knows.
I'm just saying. Oh no.
To be fair, it's not just Iran that's banning the game. New York is actually stopping and trying to ban the game in certain areas, and certain people also citing safety, where they're talking about parole violations because people are moving out of the areas to catch Pokemon that they're not supposed to be in. They're wanting to make sure that specifically children are being safe when they're playing the game.
Why would you violate your parole? Yeah. Like, that's horrible.
Dude, I had the link in the show notes. New York has already done it first. And then even Singapore now is talking about looking into this and going, well, maybe these two guys are in the wrong about this. There's some issues that people are not looking at, like the safety parts when they're in these areas and looking for Pokemon. It also is just interesting that Iran and Singapore are.
I'm just saying, if you do something stupid while playing Pokemon Go,
it's your fault.
It's your fault, and you probably would have done something stupid without that game. And
you
know what I mean?
100%.
Like the guy that drove his car into a police car, like he would have fucking done that some other time. Maybe not a cop, but he would have
done it via texting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Texting
or drunk driving. That sounds like the same kind of person that would be drunk driving.
Yeah, exactly. So sitting there and blaming it on Pokemon Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
But the backlash is starting.
Wholeheartedly go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Anyways, we can move on. Because I'm done listening to Krug scream at Doc's ignorance in culture and religion.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just pointing out that it exists. That's what I'm trying to do.
Hey. Here in America, we have a free-spirited means of educating ourselves on this situation. And then there Iran. Okay, let's just continue.
Indigo.
Okay.
If I lose my mind, this is evidence that I was justified.
Gotcha. All right. So, okay, we
I'm just pushing buttons today.
a little while ago. We actually went in and were playing it ourselves.
Yeah.
I was really enjoying it. I liked it.
Me too.
I play it every once in a while without you guys because, whenever Krug becomes the monster, I have no chance at it. So I play without him sometimes in the hopes that
you guys fight over the monster. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but in June, the month before it went free to play online, it was actually, they were averaging approximately 100 people per day.
Ooh,
damn.
Ouch. For those of you that don't know, that's not very many people. That's not very many people at all.
That's maybe half of the max capacity of a GameStop.
What a weird fucking way to measure. What's your server capacity? It's like 4 times GameStop.
Yeah, it's like, well, if you do like GameStop times like 3, that's like where I'm at. Anyways, so that's
half the GameStop is pretty much what that was the amount of people playing the game. But continue.
That being said, so they made a bunch of changes that we've already talked about. I'm not going to go over that again. But now they're actually averaging approximately 15,000 users per day logging in and playing.
That's good.
That is a huge swing. That is a huge difference. And I'll be the first to say I love the changes that they made. Like, there's one change that I don't like that they made, like the daily quest. You get this box. And what's inside that box? Just more of the currency.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be interesting if it, instead of just additional currency, it was like, hey, by the way, here's a perk, or here's a skin, or something random like that. That would be really, really cool and really interesting if they would have added that to it.
And I think they have enough stuff to do it too, especially because you're only rolling on one thing. And every single character has like perks and there's a ton of them, and there's 3 tiers of them. And I can't imagine them not having enough stuff to reward you with something like that. And at the same time, like, expect you to, pay for stuff.
And have randomly roll in a currency. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And maybe the currency thing's higher than everything else. Like, sure, fine, we get it. But like, there's no suspense when I'm opening it. That's what I look for in boxes like that. Is like some kind of like or like
we were even also super disappointed when we got our first boxes. We're like, we get to open our boxes, and we're like looking everywhere to find out where we get to open it and what we get. And then it's like we had to go online and find out it's like, oh no, that box is just like additional. A handful of currency.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
There's
fuck
no
you.
Unboxing animation?
Yeah.
No.
I'm out.
Just get it.
Even Paladins has an unboxing animation, guys. Come on.
But I just thought that was really cool, and I'm really glad that that's helping them out a lot. I also hope that 15,000 users logging in per day is also going to get them closer to coming out with more content and how long that 15,000 is going to last. It all depends on how much they add to it, or if they continue to add through it. Like, it's possible that they just made this free to play, and then basically are going to go, all right, whatever happens, and then whatever money we make, we're going to recoup our costs that we had. Or they could be saying, all right, we've got people logging on, we've got people spending money, we've got all of this. Let's continue to update and add things to the game. Let's add more maps. Let's add more monsters. Let's add more heroes. Let's have a completely different game mode. Maybe they'll add their own brawl system in there, or it's 5 monsters. That would be fucking cool. Like
5 monsters? That would be fucking insane. They'd have to have an enormous map. I'd play the fuck out of it, though. That sounds really fun.
Not just like 5 monsters, but I mean, like, instead of everyone fighting over 1 monster and 4 hunters, it's 5 monsters just competing. Like, that would be really, really cool.
Or like
I don't know,
monster team deathmatch, where it's like 2v2. That'd be good. I'd play that.
Yeah. Anyways, these are just things that I'm pulling off my top of my head.
Right.
It would be really cool if they decided to go that route, and I'm really happy that this went the way that they were hoping. This is really, really good news for them.
Yeah, hopefully they can keep it going. I'm actually trying to see their stats as of today, if they're available, because I want to know if it's being consistent or not.
Gotcha. Yeah, and they were saying
I'm
that.
Still watching the video of Overwatch Lucio Ball with Diva walking out. Sorry, I'm listening to what you guys talk about. This is interesting.
Here's a video that you can watch. Have you seen the trailer for the new for Prey yet?
No, I've not.
Okay, so there is a new trailer for Prey, and it's fucking spooky as shit. Like, the first trailer was really weird and just kind of like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, this is strange. This gets a little bit more into the game. It shows a little bit of. It doesn't. I don't believe it's in combat, but it shows some animations from the game. It shows kind of how dark and kind of creepy the world is. Some of the monsters that you're going to be facing against. I'm really excited. This is a really cool Bethesda, property that I don't think has really been getting as much, viewership as it had when it originally came out. I just really loved it. Have you guys seen it at all? Or I know.
I've heard about it. I've heard about it, and I knew that it was Arcane who was working on it with Bethesda as like the publisher, I believe it was. So I'm already on board because Arcane did Dishonored, and Dishonored was fantastic. So I really enjoyed Dishonored.
The only thing I saw of this game was a trailer with the audio muted, and I just saw a short little clip of the trailer, and there was this tiny little black thing running across the ground, and then it turned into a desk chair. Yep. Can you explain that to me? What is going on there?
No, I can't.
Okay, because
it into a desk chair, and apparently it can turn into mugs and like other things. Like, I think that's how it hides. Like, I think that they can hide.
Oh shit! So you're gonna be like walking through, and there are gonna be all these props, and some of them will be enemies.
This is just speculation, but yeah.
Because I don't know anything about this game, or if it's a franchise, or if this is the first one.
Well, there was a Prey earlier, and they were developing Prey 2, and that was like going really well, and everything was good, and then they just canceled it, and then they decided to just come out years later, with a remake of the original.
I mean, I'll keep my eye on it. I if that's a mechanic like that, like hiding in plain sight sort of thing, I'm down to like. Because I love games like that where you're not sure like which things are your enemies and which things aren't. Totally down to clown, dude.
It looks really cool. I love spooky and scary games, so I'm super fucking in.
Yeah, me too, bro.
All right, so from spooky, creepy things to massive
dinosaurs.
A massive amount of people riding dinosaurs. So the creators of Ark actually came out and kind of were boasting a little bit, saying, "Hey,
this is my dick.
We got 5.5 million copies of our game sold.
Look at how
So
big my dick is.
suck it. Yeah, they were kind of boasting a little bit and talking about how they weren't expecting this to be nearly as large as it actually came out to be.
Sure.
And they were kind of talking about the pitfalls of it, that they weren't expecting it to be this big, and because it did become so big, like the expectations is significantly higher than they ever thought it was going to be, and
Sure.
so now they're just kind of like, oh fuck, like we've got a, like they're talking about mods. They're like, we weren't even planning on putting mods into the game, and now that since there's such a large pull for people, they're like, it's a part of the game. We've added it. Like we didn't expect it to be anywhere near that big. Like, speaking of those mods, though, something that they did announce in this this article is that if any of you guys have played Survival of the Fittest, which is their kind of like PvP combat system that they have in like a Royal Rumble kind of situation, right now you can actually download it and play for free. If you've done that, awesome, great, you've helped the community off. But if you haven't yet, they're actually going to be taking it off the market this week and just throwing it into the bundle for Ark Survival. So if you haven't gotten it yet and it's still on Steam and you want to continue playing it for free without buying Ark, do it right now.
Wait. You basically, does that mean Ark's legitimately going to launch?
No.
Okay, so it's
Probably
still in
someday.
some kind of alpha state.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's still in its beta. Still in its beta, I believe. I don't think it's alpha anymore. I don't know. I'd have to check Steam to find that information. It's so wishy-washy and stuff like that. But no, the Survival of the Fittest was a modded piece, and people were able to play it for free. They're now going to put it into the bundle that you get when you buy or pre-order Ark, and be able to play it with Ark. Now, if you've already, without having to buy Ark. Now, if you have been playing it and you don't own Ark, you are super lucky, because you're going to continue to be able to play this without buying Ark if you don't want to. But if you're playing Survival of the Fittest, like, would be strange for you to not want to at least try Ark. So, yeah. Whatever.
I have a hard time wanting to get into this game. I have a hard time with survival games being in perpetual alpha.
I'm with you on that. Like, I think that, like, I think the big plight of Ark and like the big issue that they're having is because they did become so popular, they don't feel adequate enough to launch the game because they blew up way bigger than they expected.
Do you recall how long they've been in development? Because if we're coming up on like 2 to 3 years of development, that's about the development life of most games. And if they launched around a 3 to 4 year mark, that kind of seems fair, especially since they're a survival game that's like an MMO. MMOs are constantly evolving. At a certain point, I think I mentioned it on an earlier /Yell or even Quarter Up or even STOS, where it's like, look, at a certain point, you should just launch your game. You're taking up space that are not. It's not like there's a retail space, like a physical finite space in like Alpha and like Project Greenlight, but technically, the space of that page can be used for games that are still being developed.
Yeah, I'm with you on the whole games being on perpetual alpha or beta. Like at some points, I take the fucking kiddie wheels off and just let's see what happens.
So,
but
it's like the 25-year-old baseball player at a 12-year-old little league game.
Development
hit puberty really early.
Development for Ark started in October of 2014. And they're still technically in pre-release, but I don't see anything anywhere that says whether it's beta or alpha. It's just pre-release.
I mean,
so it's
2014. Okay,
it's only been 2 years then.
Yeah,
that's fine. That makes sense to me.
You said
October, yeah.
So it hasn't even.
So they're not even 2 years.
Yeah.
Then I take that back in Ark's case. It just feels like they've been there forever. But I'm thinking of games like DayZ, and I'm thinking.
I think why you feel that. I think the way you feel that is because it is so popular and because it gets talked about so much that you're like, well, this game's been out for fucking ever.
Right.
And
yeah, but I'm going to jump on the bandwagon and say when a game spends like 7 years in pre-release, I'm just like, dude, you were released 4 years ago. You know that, right? Like, I don't care what you're calling it. You've been released for 4 years. Fucking Minecraft staying in beta for like alpha. 800 years. Yeah, this is a really polished alpha. And then watch, like, they're going to be pre-released for 5 years. On the 6th year, like, all right, we're resetting all the servers. Lol, 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 lol.
Oh my god, do you know how
your progress is wild?
That'd be great.
Here, let's talk about something else that you'd be pissed about. The fact is that there's going to be
just trying to make me angry.
Yes.
This whole day today.
The fact that there's going to be another Resident Evil fucking movie.
Don't care.
Okay.
Don't
correct me if I'm wrong,
it.
but wasn't the last Resident Evil movie supposed to be the last Resident Evil movie?
This one's called Final Chapter.
Oh shit!
Weren't they advertising the last one as the last Resident Evil movie?
Well, I thought that. Well, no. The last one wasn't the last Resident Evil movie. That one was supposed to be the last live action.
I love how your sentence
oh
was.
God.
The last one wasn't the last Resident Evil movie because you said the last one. Like I understand what you meant, but it was just funny.
No, I know. But yeah, that one wasn't going to be the final one.
Technically released.
And
still technically.
Have you click on that link that I sent you?
I saw it
in there. Does it look just for the few seconds that you can actually see the it doesn't look like shit, just utter garbage that no one wanted to invest in it, but like this is someone's fucking passion project. Like, no, I love Resident Evil. I'm gonna make my final chapter in my fucking series. Like, and
Okay.
it looks really bad.
Look, there are a lot of fans of Resident Evil, and I understand that Mila Jovovich really cut her teeth on this franchise. It's essentially her baby, and I know she wants to give the fans something to be happy with for their last movie. What else has she done? You know what? I'm not gonna think too hard on it.
Are you talking about the motorcycle part, Indigo? The part where that looks like it's it does kind of look a little
the motorcycle and the explosions.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even released yet, so it's just like when they do the first trailer for most movies. It's not finished. It's not finalized footage. It's just teaser footage.
I don't know. If you're gonna put your foot forward, don't you want to put your best foot forward?
No.
I'm not gonna talk to you about movies because if you're gonna dog trash this thing and you're gonna defend something else, then no.
Suicide Squad is good. You guys should watch it. It's
no. I will quarter fight you on that movie right now.
No.
Anyways,
Indigo gets another coin for showing restraint.
No, because first of all, this is its opening weekend, and I don't think arguing about something that is going to definitely super have spoilers, because you and I won't be able to handle that, is a good idea.
I'll gladly spoil this fucking movie.
Indigo gets another point for not wanting to show spoilers. What the fuck's wrong with you, dude? You're actually the worst.
I care about spoilers. You already know I never cared about spoilers.
I don't personally care about spoilers, but I'm aware that
opening
other people
weekend.
do.
Is it still opening weekend?
Yes,
yeah,
it opened up Thursday.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, Doc.
All right, so the last little conversation piece that we're going to have this week is the fact that Battleborn, I don't know if you guys have heard about this game,
apparently you haven't.
Underperforming.
Yeah.
Is underperforming.
So apparently you have not heard about this game, because if you had, it would have...
This piece of news is just old news.
Well, this is the problem, is that they came out about the same time Overwatch was coming out, which has a massive following and is very similar style. I don't know, it just was poor planning on their part.
Yeah, right?
Okay, actually, I do want to go over this because I think this has something that the We Happy Few has suffered from as well.
Okay.
So when people had all the promotional stuff for Battleborn, their marketing for it and everything else, you assume it's going to be an arena brawler like Overwatch, like everything else. Crazy characters with cooldowns in this colorful, crazy world. But then the marketing for it started to change, and the message started to change, but it wasn't a strong enough message. And they were like, well, they actively were at first didn't outright say it, but like, yeah, no, we're in the same field as Overwatch. And they went, oh no, we're really kind of not. But a lot of their footage was in that similar vein, and then people realized, oh wait, they have a single player and they have a co-op mode and they have a MOBA style map and attack. It's not really an arena brawler, but your marketing says it is.
Yeah.
On top of that, there were issues with the character design is all over the place, and that one's the most subjective of it. I've never been a big fan of a lot of Battleborn's character design. I feel that it's a weaker version of Borderlands, and there was a lot of people talking about how the game was hard to watch and spectate on stream because it's too much. Like there's too much visual noise that was making it hard even for streamers to distinguish what was happening on the action. Character models were too big on your screen, like your gun models too big on your screen, and simply they're just that kind of marketing is like off. And all that combined with the fact that they had a really bad launch window with Overwatch right next to it, they instantly cut their price by 20% when the day of Overwatch came out.
Yeah,
I feel like everything was just not in Gearbox's favor, and part of it was their doing. And tying this into a new game coming out with We Happy Few, where people, we all saw the E3 trailer for it, right?
Yeah,
We're
and
like,
that game looks
holy
so
shit, that's
fucking
awesome.
cool. Yeah.
But when you saw that trailer, correct me if I'm wrong, or I actually want your opinion. What did you think that kind of game was?
I thought it was gonna be a story game. I
thought so too.
100% fell for the marketing. Did not think it was gonna be a survival game whatsoever. And then when I found out that there's only about a minute or two of story, and then the rest is a survival game, I was like,
a lot of people had the what the fuck moment, and Battleborn kind of had that similar thing where like it's not an arena shooter, but it is. But you're not telling us it isn't an arena shooter, but you're marketing it like it is one.
Yeah.
I feel like those two games are having some parallels right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see this kind of article for We Happy Few when that launches, like a month or two after it launches.
Well, you can actually
get
it now. You can buy We Happy Few now.
It's alpha, yeah. Hey, look, another survival game on alpha.
Yeah, I'm super not happy with We Happy Few. Like, I really legitimately was excited for it and was like, I think I even hit you guys up and like, oh, have you seen the trailer? Blah blah. Like,
yeah.
And then when Neo hit me up, it was like, oh yeah, I played it. It's a survival game. I was like, what?
Yeah, we all.
Are we talking about the same title?
Like the one with the happy pills and like the pseudo, like government of watching you, like and them eating rats. Yeah, that game. I'm like.
Yeah, I honestly think that Battleborn kind of fell into that same trap, and it really damaged them, at least player-wise. Like they have dwindling player populations. Same thing. Like they're getting close to, I won't say as like an extreme as Evolves, but their active player base is not very high right now. It's really limping along, and I don't know what it is. Maybe people just maybe it's consumer fatigue with this style of game from the same developer.
And is it me, or is this shit just like, is it like we go into cycles where we just see like 50 MMOs coming out in like the same time period, and then we see a bunch of MOBAs, and then we see a bunch of first-person shooters? Like it's not spread out. It's like there are seasons of the year where it's like we get
it seems like
ton
that.
of it's like
fun.
So don't worry, guys. It's Sci-Fi Futures shooter month.
So
everything is brown.
Steam players for today. There are currently like 8 million people on Steam playing a game. 913,000 of them were playing Dota 2. That's the highest. The lowest is Microsoft Flight Simulator X Steam Edition, which has 2,501 players currently. And so that's the lowest on this list of top 100. Battleborn is not on this list, and Evolve still is at 10,000, I think.
So Battleborn has less than 2,000 concurrent players.
Yeah, less than 2,500. Yeah.
Ouch.
Evolve looks like it's doing pretty good, though. It's not, like, staying super consistent, but it's still at 6,000 right now and 10,000 peak today. It's not horrible.
I mean, people that played it, they're saying the game's got a lot to it. Yeah. They're saying that it's worth the price tag that Battleborn has. It's honestly a better value content-wise compared to a game like Overwatch. But there's something about Battleborn that just didn't click.
Yeah. Some of the games on this list are so, like, why are they on, like, the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The number 7 game is Football Manager 2016.
Dude, Football Manager, that series is one of those games that it makes no sense here in America, but it's like FIFA.
Kill me,
There's
dude.
A fan base of that thing, and it is bonkers how big it is.
Oh shit, we're going overtime. Do we know
Almost. That? No, we have like 3 minutes left, so we just start wrapping it up.
All right, let's wrap it up.
See?
Somebody want to start wrapping it up?
Sure. My name is Indigo, guys. Thank you so much for watching us. And if you guys are listening to the podcast, thank you guys for listening to us. Make sure to share it with your friends if they're into gaming. They want to hear us talk, or you think that they might enjoy our sense of humor. Please, please, please make sure to share it, because it's really helpful for us. It allows us to keep doing this every single weekend for you guys. That being said, my name is Indigo, and you can get a hold of me on Twitter at IndigoQT. You can also email me at indigo@QueueTimes.com. If you want to tweet all three of us, you can actually tweet us _QueueTimes on Twitter. Krug, what about yourself?
You can get me on Twitter. I am at KrugQT. You can also email me. My email address is krug@QueueTimes.com. If you want to email all three of us, you can email QU@QueueTimes.com. That is the letters QU@QueueTimes.com. Doc, what about that sexy beard of yours? Where can I tweet that beard?
Best place is at AdRockDraws. It's the best place. I'm going to try and do some streams this week for Atlas Reactor or something. We'll see what happens.
Nice, man.
Sweet.
We're going to be streaming some Overwatch, so stick around. But until then, we'll see you all next time. We'll see you all in an hour for Slash L if you don't want to stick around for the streams, but we'd appreciate it if you did.
Now we'll see you next week. Bye.
See you guys on the forums.
Mwah.